Well, we're almost ready to invite Cortex to a nice lunch in celebration of gathering all 25 crystals. We're almost there. First of all, let's go back to hanging out, because there's one last secret level here. Let's go backwards into this pool. And there's a secret hanging section here. There's actually one mechanic I haven't shown off yet, which is when you're hanging, you can tuck your legs up by holding the B button. This is the only room in the entire game where that's actually useful. And there's hanging mechanics similar to this in Crash 3, and I don't think they bring back the leg tucking mechanic. I should probably replay the original Crash 3 in preparation for the inevitable NST series that we'll do.
It seems kind of funny for them to add that for one room.
It's got to be a mechanic where they were going to flesh it out originally, and then that was like the one room that was left over.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is totally Fly. I kind of love this level because it's just a series of practical jokes.
So it's a troll level.
Yeah, it's the last level that we have here with the Fireflies. And basically all the level design is trying to do is waste your time so that you run out of power on the Firefly. It's definitely not the best designed level, but I have respect for it. For example, having to line up this rat so that you can spin it perfectly into the TNT. Or not the TNT, the Nitro. Because if you carry your momentum a bit too far forward, then you'll blow up.
A series of traps that would make Cave Johnson proud.
It's somewhere in between Cave Johnson and Jigsaw, I think.
Well, they both like to play games. Okay.
And that extends to this bonus room, where you can, if you want, just completely ignore this Firefly. I pointed out, I think in a previous video, I pointed out that the Fireflies will eventually catch up with you on like a linear track. That is something that definitely did not happen in the original.
I gotta give him credit for the lighting effects. It's kind of nice.
I had to go back for that extra life. It just wouldn't feel right otherwise. Because I am currently starving for lives, as you can see.
67. There's no, like, hidden ultra challenging, we just didn't have time to finish this.
No, there's no Stormy Ascent. Or at the very least, if there was a Stormy Ascent, it didn't get far enough. So here's another great example of intentionally wasting your time just for comedy. You want to avoid getting that Firefly and instead smash all these iron crates, which you need to destroy with the body slam.
And then go back to the Firefly.
Exactly. I also didn't realize until just now, that extra Firefly will go ahead even if you run out, because usually in the original you would just restore your Firefly if you touched one before it ran out.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna have to compare it, because I haven't played that far into the NST versions of Crash 3. I have very vivid memories of the Firefly levels in Crash 3, the original. But I'll probably need to do like one full playthrough of Crash 3 before I start recording. It's yeah, differences in NST and PS1. Anyway, so that was the last secret level. And we only have 2 regular levels left.
So Crash is getting a little spaced out here.
Yes, you could say that. Crash 2 started a number of traditions for the Crash formula. One of them, we'll see in a bit here. But first of all, there's this platform. In case you couldn't tell from the coloring, if you go on the sides of the platforms, you take damage. Those are hot.
Oh God.
So the tradition that this final level started is that for a number of Crash levels after this, the final level of every Crash game from now on will have a hidden gem at the final level that requires you to have collected all of the colored gems in order to reach it.
Okay.
Also, this blue gem section of the I call it the Rainbow Trail. But that blue gem section is actually broken in the NST version. If you stay there for more than one cycle, you don't get it the first try, it will eventually desync.
And they still haven't patched it.
Yeah, well, I think there were like some patches for like the loading times, I think, because the loading times on PlayStation 4 were really bad. They were like in the 30 to 45 second range.
Ooh.
And I think that got patched. And it was just eventually outright fixed for the other versions. Like this was a PS4 exclusive. Later, it came out on Xbox One and PC, and then late in its life, like about 6 or 7 months afterward, it came out for Nintendo Switch. And it's actually the Nintendo Switch version is the main reason why we have Crash Bandicoot 4. It's because a developer from Toys for Bob, who was one of the other side studios at Activision, just took home his copy of Crash Bandicoot 4 one day, just the dev version, and ported the first level of Crash 1 and Sanity Beach over to the Switch just for fun and on over a weekend. That eventually led to a full Switch version coming out, and Toys for Bob would later work on Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. You may have also noticed that there was an extra checkpoint that wasn't there before. Apparently, I discovered this when I was doing some off-screen recordings to try and practice this level. When you get an artificial checkpoint like that, it turns out it's permanent on that save file.
Really?
Which I don't think it worked like that in the original, although I would have to test it. But I have a feeling that it was just temporary. But in the NST version, like, I completely reloaded the save. Also, yeah, timing. Timing is important. I reloaded that save and that checkpoint was still there. That is not a checkpoint that should be there normally. Usually when you do the death warp, it takes you right to the start.
So nothing particularly devious in here just yet.
This is one death I left in on purpose. Because I have not seen that before. Where there was something with the physics there that made Crash slide twice in a row. I wasn't prepared for it and fell off the cliff. Not sure why that happened. But yeah, the physics were all redone from the ground up. Again, they didn't have access to the code. We've already been through this. We discussed that earlier. But yeah, there are some strange things about how the Sane Trilogy handles physics and momentum.
Based on what I was reading on the forum thread that we've got going, also some funny things about Crash's hitboxes and bounding setup.
Yes, Crash in the Sane Trilogy, he has what's called a pill hitbox, which is just it actually makes it so that his hitbox is smaller than it was in the original, where it was just a square. Yeah, he's got a tube or a pill hitbox in the NST, which apparently that's also makes things like the high road and road to nowhere becomes a lot more artificially difficult because of that, especially when it comes to like the turtles. Also, you can just spin attack the shrink ray. That is definitely taken straight from the original. I remember that. And one last fuck you. You got right near the exit.
I do love the almost Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, actually, it was the Howie Long scream, I think, in the original. That was the stock sound effect that they used, but it was re-recorded for this game. That was crystal number 24 out of 25. And the final remaining level, Pack Attack, is the second jetpack level. telling you, it never gets old.
It doesn't. Every time he does it, I expect him to turn around with the frown on his face. I'm broken now. I mean, that's just the simple truth of it.
And to think it was all because of those Japanese commercials. Yeah, I understand that Vicarious Visions changed the animation for the jetpack there, because, I mean, Naughty Dog has a long tradition of making absurdly detailed animations, even in the Crash Bandicoot days. And I still don't understand how they were able to pull off such a perfect, seamless animation of Crash putting the jetpack on his back. It's just, that should not be possible on the original PlayStation.
And do you guys still have the resources for that animation? No? Okay,
Nope.
Screw it. Changing curtain.
Yeah, exactly. It's a metallic changing curtain so that they could swap out the models. Because this game runs on Unreal Engine 4, and I'm guessing that transitioning between models on the same character is probably not as easy to do. Again, what the hell am I talking about? I've never programmed a game in my life.
It's like the old trick of never show somebody actually changing hands with items because hands are hard to animate.
Yes.
Bandicoot's dressing are really difficult to animate.
Not only that, you lose control during that animation just to make sure you see the perfect thing. Anyway, Naughty Dog, I mean, I appreciate the attention to detail in your animations, but I'm just saying it's going to get you in trouble one of these days. Like 30 years down the line, you might want to do something about that. Do you see the crystal this time? I almost missed it again.
Ooh.
Oh wait, that's a room from now. Some of these rooms look really similar.
Sane, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the next section where the crystal is. Yeah, it is also worth pointing out that the timing on the electric lab assisted animation is perfect, so that if you time it just right. Oh, there's the crystal.
Right where there's purple light. Yep,
yeah.
Very sneaky.
It's perfect timing. So if you just rush forward and spin attack at exactly the right time, you can just bum rush them like that. And there we go. The last gem.
Perfect game! Now we just have to beat the boss.
Boss, what do you mean? Cortex is our friend.
Yes.
We're gonna go celebrate with him. We're going down to the pub where Embryo works. I mean, I'm sure that he won't be happy to see us, but we can make something work.
Now, I was gonna make an Outback Steakhouse joke, but that's easily better, just because it's Embryo, and we wouldn't tip him.
Yes! My plan is nearly complete, and I have you, Crash Bandicoot, to thank for it. Engine, what's happening? What's that? Is she stealing our signal?
Crash, Cortex isn't gonna use the crystals to contain the planet's energy. He's gonna harness the force and use it to power the super Cortex vortex he's built on his space station. One blast and the ray will cover the entire world, turning everyone into Cortex's mindless slaves. Crash, don't let him have those crystals!
Engine, you fool! She's telling him everything! Oh, yes, we're back now. Pardon the, interruption. Crash, bring me crystals!
Ah, son of a bitch! He tricked us after all this time, and here I was gonna trust him.
He heard that? He heard all of that?
Also, here's the pause screen. It's been almost 2 games now. I haven't shown the pause screen yet. There it is. It's pretty similar to how it looked in Crash 2 and 3. In Crash 1, it was just a logo that said paused.
Oh my god.
So this is actually my first time playing the Sane Trilogy version of this fight, which means that I don't understand that there's a quality of life feature when you get close enough to Cortex. There's a little exclamation mark that appears over his head. In the original, you just had to gauge the depth manually.
Oh.
This boss, even in the original though, it is still pathetically easy. Like this is, thinking back on this is probably the worst of the 3 Cortex fights in the classic trilogy. It is impossible to die. Well, not impossible to die, but it's impossible to die by running into these mines or the asteroids.
So they're just obstacles.
There's one fail state, which we'll be seeing later. Also, that extra crystal that Cortex is holding onto, that's actually the master crystal he found at the beginning of the game. So I should explain this. In Crash Bandicoot 3, you get extra moves after defeating every boss. This was the extra move that you get after defeating Cortex in the 3rd game, and they ported it here to make time trials easier.
Oh.
You haven't seen the last of me, Crash Bandicoot.
We won't be seeing that yet, not until the 3rd game. Anyway, this is the normal ending.
Crash, what do you suppose happened to Cortex? And what about the Cortex Vortex? It's still up there.
Well, actually, sir, Big Boy's never left.
So the 100% ending unlocks after seeing that normal ending and having completed all 42 gems and 25 crystals.
You have acquired all of the gems. Incredible. Crystals are not the only means of harnessing planetary energy. The gems have that ability as well. And with them, I can destroy the Cortex Vortex forever. Let me warp you to my completed laser installation.
Oh no, my sense of morality and good and evil has been completely shattered. The good guys are the bad guys, the bad guys are the good guys? What? So you just go over to the platform and go up to see the 100% ending.
Oh, you don't even have to do anything to unlock it? Just collect
You already
all
did
the gems?
all the stuff, yeah.
We are ready, Crash. Would you like to do the honors?
Yes, yes, split it wide open.
Yeah! The Ewoks won!
And that's the 100% ending. So there are a couple of extras while the credits are rolling. First of all, it's going to be that fail state. The only way to actually fail the Cortex fight is to let him get away. Because the tube here actually has an ending. And after this, we will be seeing another one of the commercials for Crash 2 back in 1997.
Wow, that was intense.
Oh, God!
I just flew in from the new ruins level, and boy, are my arms tired.
By the way, this voice actor would go on to voice Spyro the Dragon in the PS1 games.
At least he failed up.
Funny stuff, Doug.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
And after this, we'll be seeing an unused animated intro and ending for the original Crash. This was much earlier in development because you could actually see Tiny and the Komodo brothers in the background at one point. This was before they were cut from Crash 1.
I don't know, say
Why does he
hello?
move like a 60s Gumby?
It's like, yeah, it's like the love child of 60s Gumby and Gmod.
Yeah.
Dr. Cortex is a genius, a mental aberration. He's totally fixated on world domination. The local island creatures are dull and obtuse. Until the evil doctor turns on the juice, he wants them for his troops. They come out nincompoops, most especially Crash Bandicoot. Should have been a genius, but he doesn't quite...
For some reason, this kind of gives me vibes of like the Earthworm Jim animated series. The one that had Dan Castellaneta as Jim.
Yeah.
See, I have evolved. Now I can make the Earthworm Jim references. Ha ha!
Haha! Tasmania, Pinky and the Brain.
Bit of Hysteria.
A little bit. The Sam & Max animated series. Like, it's just cheap enough to be Sam & Max.
Yeah. And this would have played at the end. I'm assuming this was just for the normal ending. The one where you actually fight Cortex on the blimp.
I could see that playing in the original.
Yeah. Reminder, no bandicoots were harmed in the making of this game.
Well, you only had like 89 of them.
So, for those of you who are keeping track, I do show the save file at the end here, as well as how many lives I ended the game with.
Okay, 76. All right.
Yeah, I didn't complete any of the time trial relics. I think you have to go up to, I think it's 115 or 120%, something like that, for getting the relic. There's 27 relics, because it also includes Totally Bear and Totally Fly have time trial relics. But I'll be explaining how those work in the next, well, not the next LP, because as happened before, we're going to be taking a game or two break in between, but we will be coming back to Crash Bandicoot 3 soon.
Excellent.
So, what are your post-game debriefing thoughts on Crash Bandicoot 2?
Definitely more complete than Crash Bandicoot 1. I felt like the levels were a better length.
Mm-hmm.
Graphically beautiful. Of course, I mean, I'd have to play through like the original after seeing the NST, but I'm sure they improved the original as well graphically.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that the original Crash games are available for purchase on the PS3 version of the PSN store. I don't know about the later PlayStations though. I'm assuming they were. Of course, now this is our first recording after the news that Microsoft has bought out Activision Blizzard. So who knows if they will continue to allow Crash Bandicoot games on the PlayStation store? But I assume there's not going to be any issue.
Crash Bandicoot, Microsoft exclusive.
Oh man, that means that we can get our Crash Bandicoot Blinks Spyro crossover game.
Yes.
And also,
oh my god.
Oh god, what was the? Why am I blanking? Yeah, there was also another platformer for the Xbox where you played as a voodoo doll.
Oh,
what was that?
No,
hold on, I gotta look this up.
I know the one you're thinking of. See, I would have immediately gone to a Crash Bandicoot ukulele.
Voodoo Vince. That's
Voodoo
the
Vince.
One.
That's yes.
So yeah, we need a crossover game between Crash, Spyro, Voodoo Vince, and Blinks the Time Master. Oh, and Banjo-Kazooie as well, because why not?
Yeah, Banjo and Kazooie can come too. They can drive, because the kart game was awful.
Speaking of driving, one of the things we might be seeing in Crash Bandicoot 3 is some vehicle levels.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if they work that well on the NST yet, but certainly they work decently. I remember Wrath of Cortex, which was basically an attempt at recapturing the magic of Crash 3. That had a couple of sections where its version of the boulder chases, Crash was in like an ATV, like a four-wheeler.
Okay.
And he would run away from, I know, was it a boulder? Was it a dinosaur or something? I can't remember exactly, but it's been a while since I played Wrath of Cortex. I also had the unfortunate experience of playing the GameCube version, which is the worst of the three versions by far. If you are going to play Wrath of Cortex, play it on the Xbox.
Yeah, I'm still shocked there was a GameCube version.
Wait, Voodoo Vince got remastered? What?
Wait, seriously?
It's showing up. Voodoo Vince Remastered is showing up on the Xbox store, and it's saying, okay, it's available through Xbox Play Anywhere, not through the Xbox Game Pass. That's unfortunate.
Shoot.
Yeah, apparently it's...
Man,
Okay.
everything's getting remastered these days.
And it's available on PC. I may actually have to check that out. That's one of the... Voodoo Vince is a platformer I did not grow up with as a child. That was... I didn't have the pleasure of that. Anyway,
see, it's fun to revisit these, man. Even if everyone remembers a different terrible box.
Yeah, as of this recording, the last update that went up was the one with Cold Hard Crash, where I had said the one box I always missed was the one with the Nitro boxes, and then two other posters said two completely other era boxes. Which I think one of the actually I'm remembering that now. One of the changes they actually made to Cold Hard Crash is that they moved one box that everyone misses in the bonus room. They moved it down a couple of tiles so that it's within range of the camera. But again, those are small changes they made, and not the larger changes I think they should have made. Anyway, next game, I'm hoping that the next game will answer the question: what if a character action game but with motorcycles? And everything that implies with the physics of said motorcycles.
Okay.
Anyway, take care, guys. And we'll see you next time with Steel Rats.